Hi guys! Let's get started with another type of Christmas cookie. I thought it'd be fun to make some Christmas ornaments. We're going to use a wet on wet technique today. Let's get started! So today you're going to need luster dust or pearl dust. You're going to need a paintbrush, a toothpick, your cookie, and a piece of gum paste or fondant. You're going to work your fondant or gum paste until it's pliable. You're going to roll it into a ball to try and get rid of all of the excess wrinkles. Once you have all the wrinkles out, you're going to roll it into a sausage shape. The sausage shape can be as thin or as thick as you like. Just you want to make sure that it is going to be as size appropriate to your cookie as possible. You're going to then pinch off a loop. You can come and fix up the bottom. If ever you find there's too much, you can come take off a little bit more. Doesn't really matter. You are the guide of your loop. You then come clean up the edge, pinch it a little bit, make sure to reshape in case it has become misshapen with your pinching. And that's our loop. We are going to let that dry for at least 24 hours. They're much easier to paint once they are dry. With our luster dust, we're going to put a little bit into the top of our container with a paintbrush and then just come and lightly paint it on. The one I'm painting right now is wet. You'll see the difference if you look between the one that was painted in advance and the one that I'm painting now. One just looks a little bit shiny and the other one looks a little bit more metallic. So the drier your gum paste or fondant is, the more metallic looking it will be. As you can see there. We are then going to start with our cookie and our royal icing. We're going to pipe out the outline of our cookie. See how I'm pulling away from the icing? That is giving me a much straighter line. I have much more control of the icing. I like to use 20-second icing. This lets me pipe and fill with the same icing. I sometimes go down to 15 seconds if I know that I'm going to be working in a lot of steps on my cookie and I don't want it to heal over. And then you just fill in. It lets me work with one type of icing instead of working with two. So fill in until your cookie is completely full. If ever you missed any spots, you can go back. And then with your toothpick, you're going to just come and clean up your edge with small circular motions to make sure that you have the cleanest line possible. You want to work as quickly as you can so that your icing does not heal, as we are working a wet on wet technique. So you want to make sure that your icing has not started to crust in any way so that you can use the toothpick afterwards. Without having any crusts forming. So as quickly as I can, I'm going around the edge of my cookie. If ever you see any air pockets, you can go and pop them with the toothpick. Just make sure that you're working as quickly as possible and you have your edges as straight as possible to have the nicest look with your finished cookie. So all the way around, small circular motions. This would be the same if you were using a circular cookie or a square cookie or any other shape. You're just going to go around the edges. With a different color icing, you come in and just make straight lines. Again, see how I'm pulling away? I have much more control over my icing. I'm keeping my line nice and straight. The little balls of beginning and ending of our icing do not matter in this technique. So it makes it a lot easier without having to control your icing too much. Even if there's a little glob at the end, we're going to clean that up later with our technique, so it doesn't matter. I like to use two different colors and two different size tips. Gives me a nicer pattern, so I use a thicker tip with one color and a thinner tip with the other, so my lines are thinner and thicker. It gives a nice look at the end. If ever your icing breaks, do not worry. You can come back and fill it in with this technique. Even if there's a little glob, does not matter. We're going to be hiding that in a minute. So you just fill in with the colors that you are using. You can also use only one color. I like the look of two, but if you were going for something a little bit more simple, there'd be no problem using only one color instead of using the two different colors as I have in this technique. If ever you have a lot of overflow, you can use a toothpick or your fingernail to wipe off the excess. And then with our toothpick, we are going to come to the tip of our icing and drag down towards the bottom. So as I said earlier, we are hiding all of our little beginnings globs of icing. Then you're going to move over a little bit, spin your cookie around, and then again come back down. Once you've gotten to the end, flip over, and then again come back down. So you want to start off in your icing and end in your icing as well. Because the icing has not healed yet, it'll all meld back into itself, so you don't have to worry if ever you have any little ends poking out. They'll all come back together. So this is giving us a little bit of a chevron pattern. You can also do this going all one way, the whole way on your cookie. You have a little bit more of a V shape, or you can make little spirals as well, and this will give you more of a spirally effect. So little circles between, grabbing one of each of the colors of the line. If you have any cleaning up that you'd like to do, if your edge bled a little bit, you can come back with your fingernail or toothpick and just wipe it off. You want to make sure that you're going in the direction that you were using earlier to not affect the design. And then you pick the corner that has the most white or the edge that you don't like, that you like the least, and come and stick in your ornament loop. Because the icing is still wet, it'll dry in place, and that's our ornament. Hope you guys like it. Leave your comments below letting me know what other type of cookies you'd like to see. See you soon. Bye.